Hey, it's me, Nate. Ugh. Today I'm going to be talking about something that's rather important to me, and that is the phenomenon of YouTube song parodies. And more specifically, I'm going to be discussing several of the parodies of one song, that song being Thrift Shop by Macklemore.
What, 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 what.
Thrift Shop stuck out to me because, as far as I can tell, it has the most parodies made of it. If you type Thrift Shop parody into YouTube, you can scroll for really days before running out of videos to watch. I think a big reason for this is that Thrift Shop is it's a good template to drape a parody over. The song is relatively basic, and the instrumental is a real earworm. The formula for Thrift Shop and a good deal of its parodies goes like this. 1. This is a store that I like to go to. 2. This is what I get at that store. And 3. Here is why that store is better than all other stores. Obviously, plugging Thrift Shop into this formula, you get, I like to go to the thrift shop. 2, this is where I get my unique clothing items. And 3, it's better than a lot of other stores because it is cheaper and it is more unique. A lot of these parodies also follow this formula. Pet shop, gift shop, bait shop, cheese shop, game shop, card shop, etc. Now, I'm not going to try and break down every single one of these possible parodies. I don't even know if I'll be able to rank them all. But I have collected a number of the most widely viewed and most interesting to me, and I will be putting them on a tier list for your viewing enjoyment. So I guess this is how we start, from the bottom to the top. Let's go into the F tier, the worst of the worst of thrift shop parodies. What? Toy Store by The Computer Nerd 01. Uploaded March 30th, 2013, or 213 days AT, which is after Thrift Shop. Toy Store is bad. It's bad. It's not even so bad that it's good. There are seriously no redeeming qualities for this video. The vibe is that he and his friends brought a video camera to Toys R Us with the intention of making a video, but they hadn't planned out any lyrics or anything, so they're just kind of running around randomly picking stuff up and singing a little verse about it and then leaving. There's also a lot of weird moments where he has strangers caught in the background of the take, unrelated to the video, and he didn't even blur their faces out. They're just kind of they're just hanging out in a Toys R Us, and it's pretty bad. I checked this guy's YouTube channel, and he seems to have been doing this as his main thing back in the day, making nonsense parodies to popular songs. His last update was over 2 years ago, and it was a rap about 2020 or something. But I imagine he had passed his prime long before the pandemic came and killed his channel for good. Classic 2012 random XD style humor with no substance. And clearly, he was a public nuisance. This video is fully an F tier. I promise I'll sound less like NPR as this goes on. Now that that's out of the way, on to the other videos. Sitting just barely ahead of this nightmare is Bart Baker's rendition of Thrift Shop.
What?
Bart Baker, more like Bad Baker, was one of the two giants in the comedy song parody world on YouTube from 2010 till 2016-ish. At peak popularity, he was uploading weekly song parodies, usually based on whatever was most popular at the time. I was never into his stuff because it was always a little more vulgar and edgy, and I was pretty sheltered in middle school, so I was not really allowed to watch it. This video dropped on March 30th, 2013, or 184 days AT, and it was certainly something. Unlike most of the parodies on this list, Bart Baker's version played more on how gross and dirty the thrift store is and how dumb Macklemore looks in the video. I definitely remember his stuff being more crude and mean-spirited, seeming to make fun of the artist themselves as well as the song. It at least had a somewhat coherent narrative with a beginning, middle, and end, and then like a really weird meta ending where a second Macklemore impersonator comes on just to tell the first Macklemore impersonator, who was Bart, what a good job he did with the parody, which is...
You almost died, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, where's the nearest thrift shop? You know, there's actually one right down the road. Big, thanks, man. Hella dope parody, by the way.
Dude, is that Macklemore?
It was not Macklemore. Lamau. All right. Next video here, and the only other one in D tier, is called Thrift Shop Christian Remix. So there's a lot to unpack here. So this video was released on February 22nd, 2013, or 177 days AT. It was uploaded to the personal channel of one Harrison Hughes, who seems to be a filmmaker of some kind. They aren't explicit on exactly what kind of Christian they are in the video, but it was apparently shot at a Baptist church, so the creators are probably also Baptist, which definitely tracks for kind of explaining all of it. That said, I tried not judging it too harshly, just because the quality was all right and they had a pretty clear theme and through line. I just always find these Christian but cool things to be a little forced. They didn't include the what scat opening, instead opting for the basic Yamaha beat. And throughout the song, they make a lot of interesting references, specifically in the chorus where they say, and you can play this clip instead of watching me sing it, I saved a puppy, gonna tithe my money, I'm an awesome Christian. Which is, yeah, I mean, you know, it's interesting. It's a choice. And then also when the pastor is breaking it down in his own freestyle verse, he says,
It's like 5 dying puppies this week. I have a soft side.
oh, what did you save these puppies from? Did you adopt them from a kill shelter, jump in front of a moving car? Did you pull them out of a well? And also, where are they now? If you saved 5 dying puppies this week, I would like to see them. That is a stock photo with the watermark still on it to prove that you didn't even pay for the stock photo. If you saved 5 dying puppies this week, then prove it. Because if you're lying, then I'll tell you what, that's a sin, buddy. Anyway, I put it a little higher than Bart Baker because the flow was a little better and I could tell that they weren't taking themselves too seriously. I wouldn't put it on my Spotify playlist, but I'm sure the youth group kids got a real kick out of it. Moving on.
What?
Pokemon card shop. Huh? What do you think of that? What do you think of the hat, by the way? Has this looked weird? You know what? Let me change it. What do you think of this? Cause Pokemon card shop. So Pokemon hat. Pokemon hat, Pokemon card shop. Pokemon. Thumbnail? I don't know. Anyway. So next on the list, I have a few from the nerd culture section of the internet. Starting with Card Shop, a Pokemon trading card game parody created by the YouTube channel ShoeTube on June 1st, 2013. 276 days AT. According to their channel description, they specialized in parodies and nerdcore rap. They seem to have posted with some regularity between 2012 and 2017, but they dropped off with very little fanfare after that period. So, the video begins with a typical group walking towards the camera, and I just love the theming. There's a big Pikachu mascot that I'm pretty sure appears in a couple of their other videos. Everybody's wearing various Pokemon accoutrement. Pokemon. That's nothing. The instrumental for this bit is sort of a chiptune style version of the original, clearly paying homage to the original Pokemon games. And the scat part is Pokemon, which is fun, you know, I like it. A big theme in this version is how easy it is to rip off kids at the card shop by trading them your worthless cards for cards that they don't yet realize the value of. It's one of the reasons I have it so low on the list. Is it's kind of indicative of a toxic aspect of nerd culture that, while common, shouldn't be celebrated. They also flubbed the piss line in this one. Hang on. Did I talk about the piss line yet?
What?
So in the original Thrift Shop, Macklemore makes a reference to his unwashed thrift shop clothes smelling like R. Kelly's sheets, and then he goes on to clarify what he means by this by whispering the word piss like this. Piss. You know the song. Which obviously is to say that R. Kelly's sheets smell like piss, which at this point in time is a pretty dated reference, but it was very topical when the song came out in 2013. The point is, this is one of the most recognizable parts of the song. It's definitely up there with This Is Fucking Awesome in terms of bits that are very easy to recognize in the various parodies. You may remember that Bart Baker's parody used the piss line to say jizz, which is gross. Why I didn't bring it up when it happened. It's gross, but it is, I guess, in the spirit of the line, so I can't blame them too much. Anyway, so in this one, they kind of bulldoze over the piss line in order to make a point about the cards selling on eBay for only 99 cents, which is fine if it's the best you can come up with, but, you know, take a listen.
Please, can't forget the Nido Queens. Probably shouldn't trade these. Soon they'll be worth a mill each. Psh. That's why they're selling on eBay for only 99 cents.
It's just clunky, you know? A lot of this is just naming Pokemon that rhyme, which almost makes this a Poke rap. So that's cool. I think the best part of the video is when it's just the Pikachu mascot dancing and sometimes inexplicably on a boat doing Pikachu violence. Pikachu violence. I put this video in C tier mainly because I don't love the core message of tricking children into giving up valuable cards, but the effort that went into the video is pretty apparent. Next on the list, only slightly above Card Shop, is another nerdcore parody, Comic Shop by DragonCon TV. This video was posted on August 31st, 2013, a whopping 367 days AT. I think this one is the first one so far that's more recent than the OG by over a year. DragonCon TV still posts regularly because it's the official YouTube channel of DragonCon, a comic convention in Atlanta, Georgia. Fun. This one has a lot of cosplayers in it, and the ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba is a Batman reference.
What?
Which is clever. I really don't like the saxophone backing they use. It sounds like it's hitting the wrong notes, and I'm not sure if it's also a reference I don't get or what. The piss line is a little more clear in this one, although it is just a direct lift with a name change.
Carver cut up next to me. Probably should have watched this. Smells like King Cobra sheets.
They also didn't leave a beat before actually saying piss, which is a bummer. The bulk of this song, similar to the Pokemon one, is just naming comic books and characters, although it does pivot a bit halfway through to an anti-gatekeeping message, which is nice.
Be like, oh, the girl, she's hella fake. I'm like, yo, that's no way to treat a fan.
Overall, I think this one is a lot more fun and wholesome than the Pokemon one, and I appreciate the anti-gatekeeping message. You can really tell how much fun they had making the thing, which is nice. I put it in C still because I didn't really like the saxophone they used, and some of the flow was wonky, but I think it's definitely better than the last one. It's now time for B tier.
What?
I'm going to start here with the third in our nerdcore parody trilogy, Game Shop by IGN. Who else? They released this baby on January 17th, 2013, or 141 days AT. I honestly didn't realize IGN did anything but regular old game reviews, but I guess anyone with a writing staff wanted to jump on the Thrift Shop train, and who can blame them? So the opening to this one is this woman asking Tim and Alfredo if we can go thrift shopping, much like the opening of the original song. I guess Tim and Alfredo are the head writers for IGN, or were at the time. In any case, they clearly shot this opening bit in the company garage, which is funny. The opening line remains the same, except instead of pop some tags, it's buy some games, which, buddy, you're not buying any games for just $20. If you've only got $20 in your pocket, just stay home. Unless you really are going to be popping some tags at GameStop, which is, stealing. So don't do that. The video also has a lot of cameos from YouTube creators of the era, although the only one that I recognized on the first view was the guy from Epic Mealtime. But they did all the creator cameos were shot seemingly in their own space and then sent in for the video, which is cool. The piss line in this song is used for Grease, talking about how dirty the controllers on the in-store demos are. Clever. There's also a bit of the song that kind of reminded me of a cable TV jingle.
Confident and confident, but why buy new? I can save a few bucks and get new games used.
Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of brick and mortar game stores anymore, so a lot of these references are lost on a modern audience. I also get the impression that a lot of these references were probably dated when the video dropped. But I do appreciate that this song is actually getting into the meat and potatoes of what makes a game shop unique, instead of just listing all the things you can buy there like the previous two songs did. That's the main reason I consider it the best out of the three nerdcore parodies, and I'm putting it in B tier. Moving on. So this next one is also video game adjacent, although it is a little more specific. I'm talking, of course, about Gag Shop, the Toontown parody. Gag Shop was released by the channel Mega Snoop on July 2nd, 2015, or 307 days AT. Mega Snoop is still making videos today, including game reviews and streams with a heavy focus on Toontown. Interestingly, the channel released a remastered, re-recorded version of the parody on July 2nd, 2021. A whopping 8 years, 10 months, and 3 days after the original Thrift Shop was released. I'm not going to be looking at that parody because I kind of already wrote the script before I found this updated one, but that's fine. I'll put it on the playlist. Now, I never played Toontown as a kid, so I am anticipating a lot of references that I will not get. But let's get into it. They use Big Weight and Banana Peel as part of the opening scat-type beat, which I can infer from context are maybe some of the names of the gags that you would get at the gag shop. Gags are like attacks or weapons that you can use in the game to beat bad guys, I'm pretty sure. Pretty confident on that. The piss line in this one is set up like a reference to a TNT fuse like this.
You probably should have bought that longer fuse TNT.
Although they use kaboom as the actual substitute for piss, where I would have used the fizz of the fuse. Piss. Kaboom! Still, it's a good concept. I also really like the foghorn sound effect that they use to censor fucking in This Is Fucking Awesome.
This is awesome.
I assume that that's a sound effect from the game, but it would be just as funny if it wasn't. Like I said, I'm not totally familiar with this game. I've never really played it before, but clearly the person making this parody loves Toontown, which I love to see. This parody is less about the gag shop specifically and more about the entire game of Toontown, but I can't fault him for that. The gag shop's not a real place. You gotta pull content from somewhere. You gotta pull inspiration from somewhere, and they clearly have a wide breadth of knowledge about the game. Most of this song is totally incomprehensible to me, but I can tell that there is a lot of deep lore in this song, and that the people who love Toontown probably will get all of the references, which I really like to see. Also, this line, out of context and in context, made me laugh.
I bet you 600 beans I can sell the CEO.
The only reason I'm not putting it higher and in A tier is there are a few moments where the flow gets a little wonky and the singer stumbles a bit and the audio quality isn't great. but I'm sure that that they fixed all of that in the update and the remaster. You know, when I was originally planning this video, I wanted to have a different outfit for each individual song that I talked about, but that ended up getting unruly, especially when I tried going to the thrift store and getting specifically themed outfits. So I decided instead to just do the hat change thing. And speaking of, it's time for another changing of the hats. So let's shoop. Shoop. All right. What's this? Some kind of camouflaged hunter's cap, because this next one will be it's thematic, I promise. The next song in the order is called Bait Shop. Bait Shop was released by Swamp Rat Outdoors, a Wisconsin-based group, on March 3rd, 2013, 187 days AT. They were a fishing and hunting channel that predominantly posted between 2012 and 2015, with the last video on their channel being a Throwback Thursday post from 2019. They seem to do a mix of vlogs and musical parodies, with this thrift shop parody being their most viewed video on the channel. Bait Shop has quite a beefy little sketch at the beginning of it, with the basic premise being that these guys are all going ice fishing and they need to stop at the bait shop for supplies. The opening beat consists of just the word fish over and over again, which is great. As they all get into their van, they kind of freeze frame on each of their faces. It's pretty cool.
Fish, 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 fish.
I'm gonna catch some fish, only got 20 minnows in my bucket. So, while a lot of these parodies are more specifically about the shop itself, this one is generally about ice fishing. They do have a few shots of them inside of a real bait shop, which they do shout out in the description of the video, so that's nice. Ice on the lake, it's so damn sketchy. It's a great play on the original line, although it's talking about a different kind of ice, isn't it? Isn't that clever? Because in the original, the ice was like jewelry, right? Like, you know, ice. But in this one, the ice is obviously referring to the ice that they're fishing on. I don't need to explain all that, you get it. Dressed in all flannel, except my boots, those are camo. That line was a little weak because it didn't really rhyme with anything. The piss line in this song is fish, which I think is really fun. Although, interestingly, the thing that they're saying smells like fish is fish. Check it out.
Met the guy down the creek, offer me some sardines. Probably shouldn't eat these, smells like Skeezy's feet. Fish. But hey, it was free.
The piss line in this one doesn't really follow all the same beats as the original, but it has its own unique and funny flavor, where they just kind of live in the moment and let this guy eat this gross fish and then throw up. I don't know about this guy, though. He seems like a weird little freak. A real pervert. I don't trust him. After the piss line, they do take a moment to go over some actual stuff that you would get at the bait shop and, you know, what you would buy there. Oh, he got the good pole. Good line. They also spend some time on cooking and eating the fish that they caught, so it's clear that this whole day that they were shooting this video, they were also actually ice fishing, which, you know, I appreciate that they walked the walk after talking the talk. Overall, this video seems like it was a lot of fun to make for these guys, and they clearly know what they're talking about. I have been ice fishing once, and I didn't catch anything, so I didn't catch all the references they made. Maybe I'll send it to my grandpa. He goes ice fishing with my dad sometimes. The musicality of it wasn't great. They used a lot of auto-tune to hit both the high and the low notes, and many of the rhymes were simply not rhymes. They also didn't spend a lot of time talking about the actual bait shop, instead opting to recap an entire day's worth of ice fishing, which is fine, but I am keeping it in B tier. Okay, we are moving onwards and upwards into A tier.
What?
Out of the Closet Thrift Store was founded in 1990 to help raise funds and awareness for the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And of course, in 2013, just 183 days AT, they too released a thrift shop parody to YouTube. This one is interesting because while it is a parody, it is actually still about a thrift shop. Only this one has free condoms and HIV testing in the back. The plot of this parody is our Macklemore-like figure is shopping at this thrift store, but he's starting to feel a little sick. So one of the employees suggests he visits the in-store pharmacy to get HIV tested completely free of charge. He is a little worried because he only has an hour, leading us straight into our piss line, stress. Which is a good one, I think.
Stress.
But shit, it only took a minute. So he's relieved to find out that the test was really quick, and they also have free condoms available at the front desk. We get a classic joke where he asks the cashier for one of the Magnum condoms for his monster dong. And then, of course, whispers to her that he would actually just like the normal-sized ones, please, thank you. The main purpose of this song, I guess, is to advertise that this thrift shop is a great option for supporting the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, because 96 cents of every dollar goes to their HIV prevention and treatment services, according to their website, which I will be putting in the description along with the playlist. I think the fact that this is a parody of a specific thrift shop really helps the concept. I don't think all the rhymes land, and I think sometimes they sacrifice flow for the sake of getting information across, but on the other hand, look at all these looks. They also had the person playing the Macklemore character actually wear a hoodie that says Macklemore on the back, so you know it's him. One of my favorite non-cameos from Macklemore so far. Overall, solid video. I'm putting it in A tier for the information and the production value, I think. I gotta find myself one of these locations so I can get some new outfits. Now, of course, Sesame Street made a parody of Thrift Shop eventually, but this one took them over 2 years. This parody appeared in episode 4514, which itself premiered on January 12th, 2015, which makes this parody the furthest chronologically from the original song at a whopping 866 days AT. It's also one of the shortest parodies because it's from a TV show for babies. This parody is simply called Grouch Thrift Shop and stars Oscar the Grouch from Night at the Museum 2, as well as Macklemore? They call him Mucklemore in the video, and I just love the energy. You can tell Macklemore really enjoyed his time on set as well. The scat opening is replaced with yuck, 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 and with muddy, 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 mud, which is on brand for the Grouches. This is gross and awesome. Just great stuff overall. One Grouch's trash is another Grouch's outfit is a great line and really gets to the heart of the Grouch characters. Obviously, this one is a lot shorter than the original song and was made for kids, so it's missing a lot. There wasn't a piss line in this one, but they still had some solid bars. Apparently, in this episode, Oscar is trying to save his money, which is trash bags, in order to buy something on Scramazon.com. But shortly after this song, because he's having trouble exerting self-control, he ends up spending all of his trash bags on Macklemore's cool fish hat.
Wouldn't you like to rock a fish on your noodle?
Definitely gets high praise for having Macklemore directly involved with the song, and it doesn't suffer at all despite being shortened and cleaned up for the kids. I'm putting it in A tier with only a minor disappointment that it wasn't really that long. I could have listened to that for a while. Weed. The Final Frontier. I'm just kidding, of course. This is Pot Shop, a thrift shop parody released on January 9th, 2013, 133 Days AT, by Steve Berkey. At the time of its release, Steve Berkey was running his second campaign for mayor of Miami Beach, Florida, running on a platform of a new public transportation system as well as, of course, the legalization of marijuana, which at the time of the video was only legal in, I think, 2 states. He didn't win the election, no surprise there, but his viral parodies about weed and the legalization of it led to him getting a lot of deals with local marijuana companies who were unable to advertise through traditional means at the time. So they were partnering with him for various features, basically, in his parodies. The opening beat is pretty good, using puff it, puff it, puff it and pass as the scat opening, which I think is pretty clever. The video begins with a pretty faithful recreation of the original Macklemore video, albeit with a little more weed imagery. It also features Sexy Sax Man, who had worked with Steve in 2011. He asked then mayor of Miami Beach, Maddie Herrera Bauer, to resign, and then Sexy Sax Man came in and played Silent Whisper. Here's a clip.
I present to you Sexy Sax Man superstar Sergio Flores.
It was a viral video sensation at the time, I'm told. The point is, the same sax guy is playing the sax line for the Thrift Shop song. So that's cool. It did take me a few watch-throughs to realize that Steve Berkey was actually running for mayor and using this video as part of his campaign. But he is wearing his own merch here. And it's obviously on his YouTube channel, which is still filled with these stunt viral videos. Another interesting thing, this video is the only parody that I've found that also uses a DeLorean, just like the original music video had a DeLorean in it. I'm gonna smoke some weed is the hardest opening line of any of these parodies. It really just gets straight to the point. This is exactly what you came here for. It's telling you exactly what's about to go down. I'm going to go smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket, or whatever he says. Unfortunately, the actual opening line is a little bit of a stumble. Walk in my crib like, what up, I got some good pot. Nah, I'm just pumped up, got some herb from the pot shop. He's just saying that he bought weed twice. He's just saying, I bought weed twice. But we do recover in the follow-up, and my favorite line delivery of this whole project.
Like, damn, that's a stoned-ass donkey.
Rolling in.
Just really gets to the heart of the whole parody, what it's all about, which is getting high. It's, again, not exactly about the pot shop so much as it is about what you do after the pot shop, but it still has a pretty solid A to B through line, so I'll give it to him. Also, this parody mentions a dog and then immediately shows us the dog, so points for that. Looking at you, Christian Remix.
In the snuggie with my girl sitting next to me.
And then, of course, after they show us the excellent dog, we get hit with the ever-important piss line, which I really just have to show you.
Probably shouldn't have had a big gulp full of iced tea. Piss.
So this mayoral candidate of a city in Florida, where else, he's looking at the song Thrift Shop. And as he's putting this parody together, he's figuring out, what he wants to replace with what, lyric-wise. And he gets to the piss line, and he says, no, I want to preserve the piss line. And where these other parodies were cowardly and they replaced piss with things like grease or fish or stress, he's just straight up pissing on a wall and saying piss. And I think that's beautiful. Anyway, the video continues its plot as our main character searches for his keys because he's starting to feel a bit snacky. He picks up the key for his grandpa's ride, and it's just another cool car for the video. Now, I'm not condemning or condoning the use of marijuana in this video. It's, up to you. It's legal in a lot of places. But you shouldn't drive high, just like you shouldn't drive drunk. But I guess maybe they didn't know that 10 years ago. Now, the midpoint of this video is where I really got whiplash and realized that this is not just a shitpost about what if thrift shop but weed, but is in fact a piece of biting political media. Observe.
I bought some Ben and Jerry's, and then I bought some Cheetos. Hello, my main man Obama. A couple states have just reformed their laws on marijuana.
See? So now we are talking about Obama and the legality and facts about marijuana in the United States. Now the plot has shifted to the DEA doing a raid on the protagonist's house, and they find his friend smoking weed, but the feds actually think it's cool to smoke weed, and so when he gets back with the snacks, they're on his couch, smoking his weed. And then he leaves to talk about the medical benefits of Mary Jane. This is fucking awesome indeed. We then get a cameo from Dr. Linda Kaplan, who is presumably a local ophthalmologist. Eye doctor. It's about glaucoma. We then get a crash course on how lobbies function to strong-arm the government into protecting not people, but profits for these large corporations. He mentions alcohol, tobacco, pharmaceutical companies, and prisons as the four main lobby groups, or motherfuckers, who are keeping weed federally illegal. Also, this guy playing the prison lobbyist looks like Joe Biden. Anyway, we get an Obama impersonator holding a dog and a call out of the now former president about how he's a hypocrite because he used to smoke weed, but he won't make it federally illegal. I do think he was probably busy with other stuff. But this is an interesting glimpse into an era where weed was like a really hot button political issue and not just normal. What a difference 10 years makes, huh? So, wait a second. So they had an Obama impersonator, like a black man dressed up like Obama and acting as Obama. They have a second Obama impersonator who is clearly a white man wearing an Obama mask that you would get from like Party City or something. And he's wearing the same kind of suit and tie as the main Obama. My theory is that the second Obama, the one with the mask, is representative of how these lobby groups are sort of puppeteering the president in such a way that they can continue as they were and keep marijuana federally illegal. But I also might be reading too much into this. Hey, look, Yoda! And finally, we end the video with an honest-to-God Macklemore cameo. How's it feel, Bart? Couldn't do this, could you, Bart? No. As a mayoral candidate, and the fact that he's been viral a few times for other videos like this probably gave him a little more pull in getting the actual Macklemore. I had a lot to say about this video, and so that's why I'm putting it in A tier at the very top. The only reason it isn't in S tier is I'm still confused about the double Obama situation. The quality and the budget is pretty good, and I think the message really stands out well. Let's end the war on drugs. It's time to pull the plug. These special interest groups are nothing more than corporate thugs.
What?
Here we are. The peak of the mountain. Look out and you shall see all the wonders of the world scattered before you. Every other thrift shop parody on the internet, out below the peak of this rank hill that I've created. Every single one exists along the axis between Toy Shop at the very, very bottom and the best of the best, which is yet to come. And you know what? I think the occasion calls for one last hat change. All right. This is my last hat of the video. It's my fanciest hat. I'm pretty excited to get right into it with Pet Shop. I gotta stop popping those P's. Pet Shop is the first one of these that I remember watching way back when it came out in 2013, approximately 213 days AT. The Key of Awesome series by Barely Political was one of my favorite series on YouTube, and I remember watching a lot of their parodies as they came out. You may remember their rival, Bart Baker, which I talked about earlier. The video starts with a kid saying, "Hey Macklemore, can we go pet shopping?" Which is interesting because that line was only in the original studio recording of the song, but it didn't feature in the music video that was released at the same time. I think the creative team just wanted an excuse to have an annoying kid follow the singer around, which is a great choice. The scat opening is made up of a lot of animal noises, and almost all the animals that feature in the video are either puppets or plushies, like this guy.
Hello, it's me. I like cheese.
And where can I buy some diet mice so my snakes don't get too fat?
Key of Awesome always has a lot of puppets in their video, and I just love them every time. It reminds me a little bit of the Muppets. They start the first verse with, "What up? I need a peacock," which is my favorite alteration of that original line. It's just so funny. They also have a great piss line, which is just snakes hissing.
But can I get a guarantee that they won't strangle me?
The flow on the rap for this one is also pretty solid. I am by no means an expert, but it's soothing to listen to the rhymes and the rhythms flow together so nicely. I also believe that this is one of the closest to the spirit of the original, that being, this is a store I like to go to, this is what I get at that store, this is why that store is better. They don't really touch on why it's better, but this dog is old as shit, it has a plastic head. I taught it 3 new tricks. Stay right there, play dead and sit. I love that they use a fully taxidermied wolf for that portion. Just so funny. Overall, it's got a great flow, it's got a great theming, and it's got a great commitment and escalation of the bit, from having a few snakes to asking if you can store a shark in your friend's pool. The last part of the song does get barely political, with the singer complaining that all of the animals in his house just sit around asking for a handout, and he blames Obama for this, which I assume is a topical reference to the era, but I was in middle school at the time, so I didn't really do taxes. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to point out at the beginning. This was the 69th Key of Awesome video. The series would conclude in 2017 with 129 comedy music videos. Here we are, the very top of my ranking of these thrift shop parodies. My personal favorite of the list, and oh no. So either someone in charge of the College Humor YouTube channel decided to specifically private this video, or it was just an automatic process on YouTube's part because maybe it was marked inappropriate after a certain amount of time. That can't be true. Maybe it was canceled by cancel culture. Maybe it got so many downvotes that, no, that can't be it. Okay, I did some more digging, and it turns out there's at least 2 other videos by College Humor Dropout that are no longer on YouTube, and I can't find them on their streaming service either. Streaming service at dropout.tv. I highly recommend getting it if you haven't, because they got some great shit on there, but they don't have their original song parodies from 2012 and 2013. So Gift Shop by College Humor, now Dropout, was released, I guess I don't really know, but probably somewhere between 100 and 200 days AT, because that is generally the time frame for these parodies. The opening scat is replaced with, "Hey look, what is that by the exit?" implying that the gift shop is by the exit of the museum. The entire video was shot on location at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Garden City, Long Island, New York. I was able to find this out by Googling the name on the side of the building that they were outside of, and then also looking up that museum and looking for pictures of the gift shop, and I was able to corroborate that it is in fact the same building, which makes sense. The College Humor offices were in New York at this time, so it makes sense that they would go to a New York museum. The piss line on this one is unique because it is non-verbal, instead using musical instruments called rain sticks, which are another thing that you could find in a gift shop.
Because it sounds so precipitous.
The song is great because it really is just about the gift shop, with no references to the museum surrounding it at all, which is why I think that it's the closest to the original in terms of theming. Now, I'm not sure if it's just because I was a museum kid growing up, but this song and this video was my absolute top favorite of all of these parodies. You can tell that the singer feels about museum gift shops the exact way that Macklemore feels about thrift shops. Also, this line.
Walk up to the bin, scoop up a bag of gemstones, the geoheads will be like,
He got the fool's gold.
So, that's my final ranking. Thank you so much for watching. I will put the playlist in the description, as well as all associated links that I said that I would put in the description. And feel free to shoot me a comment with what your favorite thrift shop song parody is. I'd love to check them out. But for now, I've got to hit the thrift shop. What?
Is that your grandma's coat?